Hey, you're watching Vinyl for Miles, your best resource for music and vinyl reviews. Today, we're gonna be looking at my recent vinyl pickups. Stick around. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you've been on my channel before, you're gonna notice things are a little bit different. We're actually in my studio right now. We're not in my living room. And I might look and sound a hell of a lot clearer. I got a new camera because I was sick of my face being out of focus and sick of not being able to see myself. And I thought, why not just go into my studio where I'm creative anyways, and we can film these in here. I can also film these at night and I don't have to worry about my kids running in and interrupting right in the middle of our videos. So as you can see, I have my wonderful Kiesel guitars behind me. I haven't done a personal vinyl video in quite a while. I know I've been doing the bandbox unboxings, showing you guys what you get with that subscription service, but I haven't really talked too much about what I've picked up recently, and I've got quite a bit picked up. And this is all stuff that I love, bands that I'm super into. Most of it's gonna be 2018 and up. I have a few older records in here that I just had to get. All right, so I'm gonna kick this off with one of my favorite all-time bands, Opeth. If you guys are into heavy metal and you're into progressive metal, you're gonna love Opeth. There's been a few phases of Opeth over the years. First, they were just progressive death metal with kind of some like folk influence. Then they went to like dad rock, progressive rock with the album Heritage. Then they kind of came back to more core progressive. None of the screams, none of that stuff. Mike Lagerfeld has just been tapping into his like lead rock vocals and pure clean vocals. But their new album, I'd say of this generation or this version of Opeth, is the best album. And I'm gonna label this the best progressive album of 2019. And it is In Cauda Venenum. Is that how you say it? In Cauda Venenum. Venom? Why don't we just call it In Cauda? Because I can't speak Latin. But you're gonna ask yourself, and I wanna do a full review of this, why do I have two copies of this? Because no, I'm not an idiot. One thing that Opeth did, and this is why I consider this one of the best progressive albums of 2019, is they recorded this, at least they recorded the vocals twice. So why the F would they record the vocals twice? Because they're Swedish. They've been singing in English their entire career. Michael Lagerfeld said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna sing this album in Swedish. And he did. So there's a Swedish version here, and there's an English version. What we get is, the albums are identical, by the way. Opeth has some of my favorite artwork. Yeah, the main difference is just the language. So obviously the lyrics on the inside are gonna be in Swedish for the Swedish version, and check this out. The Swedish version, look at this variant. The Swedish flag. So this pressing, super cool. I will say, it's not audio file quality, unfortunately. It sounds good. It's just a little lackluster when it comes to the high end, and it can get a little bit muddy. I did try cleaning it. Here's what the insert looks like. And when you dive into it, it's just the lyrics. And this one's in Swedish, so I can go ahead and read you some of it. Fartka flodar achk dutor. This album, 100% you need to check out if you have not checked it out. If you're an Opeth fan and you're one of those biased Opeth fans who just won't listen to their new stuff, get over it and listen to this because it's freaking killer. There's lots of sections of this that they could have easily added the growls back over and you would have been like, hey, this is the Opeth I know and love. And the English version, I opted to get the German black copy, which honestly sounds better than the other variant. But the other variant, having the Swedish flag, dude, that is like one of the coolest records I own right now. So that's In Cauda Venenum, whatever, Venenum. And I also got another recent pickup from Opeth, and that is Watershed. Watershed is probably, half of this album is the most brutal, like the farthest they can take their genre of progressive death metal. And the other half is just gorgeous, beautiful acoustic music. So Watershed, this has been out for a while. I think this came out in 2009. My son actually loves this album. My son's 3 years old and he's so into death metal, it's ridiculous. I didn't try to get him into it. He just heard me listening to it in the car once and he always asks to listen to it. And this bad boy's on black. Nothing really special to see. It is 180 gram. Continuing with the metal genre, this was another album that came out late 2019. This band, I think they're pioneering heavy metal right now. You can't really put them in one genre, and it's led by a female singer who, like Michael Ackerfeld, has an amazing singing voice, but she can growl like a mother. So check out this. This is Jinjer. This is their new album, Macro. And amazing artwork on this one. You try to get it out of the light there. It's on the back. I mean, it almost looks like an engraving, and here's all the lyrics on the inside. If you have not heard Jinjer and you're into metal, you're missing out. You need to check them out. Aside from it being a gatefold, it does come with the nice poly sleeve, which is always good to get with your albums. And what we have here is 180 gram black. And look how beautiful that label is. So the best way to describe this album is technical death metal meets like grindcore meets hardcore. There's even spots of reggae in this. There's a little bit, even some songs I could hear like a little Gwen Stefani in her voice. It's crazy. Avant-garde. How about that? Avant-garde, off the wall. So yeah, check out Jinjer, Macro. Love this record. Okay, so moving along. This band, I guess you can call, this album especially is more metal than their most recent stuff, but we did pick up a Halestorm album. This is my wife's album. Halestorm, they had Vicious come out, I think it was in 2018 or early 2019, but what's cool about the album I'm about to show you, it's a special edition, and it's their debut album. But this doesn't look like their debut album, does it? That's because it's brand new artwork. It's the 10th anniversary of their self-titled album, Halestorm. They have a very Blade Runner kind of album cover going. Super cool on the album artwork. And they didn't just do the album artwork. They touched up the music a little bit on a remix, and it comes with, get this, an entire record of demos. So side A and B, normal album, right? And then side C and D are all demos, like from 2006. They're called basement demos. So if you're a Halestorm fan, this is the album to get. And the inside has some of the original photography, and this is when they were really young. This was their first album. So I mean, they were still defining their sound. This album is much heavier than some of their other stuff. It even comes with, for all the fanboys and girls out there, it comes with a poster. Not only does it come with a poster with production stills from recording the album, but it has a really nice professional shot of the band here. We have a double album. I don't know why more people don't do this, probably because it's expensive. But side A and B are on a nice turquoise color here. All right, so here's side C and D, and this comes on transparent yellow, which is awesome. So if you guys are a fan of Halestorm, if you already own the first album like I do, and my wife, we do have the first album, I had to get this. It's just, it looks so much more cool. It's updated for 2019, 2020. I think this came out end of last year, but I actually didn't get this delivered on my doorstep until January like 5th. So even though this came out in 2019, that was the 10th anniversary. I don't know, keep with the metal or should we break it up? Why don't we break it up? We're gonna break it up. We're gonna stray away from metal and we're gonna go with some synthwave. And this is good synthwave. This isn't the, hey, it's one guy in his basement making an album completely on his computer. This is Scandroid. Scandroid, if you haven't heard them, I don't care what anyone says. They're the #1 best synthwave band ever. And it's one or two guys. Okay, so I'll admit, it's like a solo project. But this dude does everything himself, and he's 100% using analog keyboards on this. It's not like he's using plugins, and his name's Clayton. Scandroid, this album is their debut album, which is just self-titled. I got the deluxe edition. Here's the back of it. And here's the inside, which I thought was pretty cool. Really good retro artwork. Again, this is kind of like the whole Tron, Blade Runner kind of feel to it. And this one came on orange, transparent orange, but you can definitely see through it. And it is 180 gram, and it sounds amazing. This is one of the best sounding records of the bunch. It also came with this book with all the lyrics in it. What's cool about the record, like the record version of the deluxe album, is the normal deluxe album, all of the remixes are at the very, very back of the album, so you have to get through the whole thing to listen to it. What they did here was, if there's a remix of a song on, let's say, side B, they put that remix on side B, so you don't have to pop in the last disc to listen to all the remixes. So Connection, you hear the normal version, and at the very end of this side you get to have the remix. So I kind of like how they restructured it for the deluxe vinyl edition. It makes you feel a little special that you actually forked out the cash. There's also an amazing cover on that album of Shout from Tears for Fears. Okay, keeping with the synthwave, I got another Scandroid album, Monochrome. This is their second full-length album. This one, again, is the deluxe version, which I think they only make the deluxe version. So you got some futuristic 80s artwork on there, and on the back, track listings, and this does have a nice cover of Thriller by Michael Jackson. A nice synthwave version of it. And this comes on gray, because monochrome, right? There's no color here. So there's the variant that we get with this album. And probably my favorite track on here is Monochrome, because there's a killer keyboard solo on it. I'm super into keyboard solos, so. All right, getting back towards metal. My wife got a nice Christmas present here from my mom's boyfriend, actually, and it was In This Moment. Check them out. If you like metal, if you like clean female vocals, but you kind of dig the female screaming, she has a really unique way of approaching it, and their stage presence is just crazy. Their whole production value is like through the roof, like 11 out of 10 if I give it that. We saw them with their album Ritual on that tour, and they literally had like a whole ritual on stage, like a cauldron, like all these like witch-looking girls. It was freaking crazy. One of the best live shows I've ever seen. All right, so this next album, we're going back to the metal, and we're going like really, really metal, like kind of black metal. And this is Enslaved. This is their newest release called E. But you're gonna look at it and be like, Michael, that's an M. Why are you calling it E? Well, it's a freaking rune, dude. This band is from Norway. They are the pioneers of what I would call like progressive black metal or progressive extreme metal. And this album has 6 songs on it. And the best way to describe it is, as I mentioned, there's times where there's Viking yells in it, like men just like yelling in the background with like a horn, like woo. And then there's times where there's really nice clean vocals, and there's times where there's really guttural black metal vocals over clean tones, which is really weird. But it really comes together. It makes sense if you listen to the album. And they have some amazing artwork on here. I'm a huge fan of. Their lyrics on the back, which are extremely small. There's only 900 of these made. I was lucky enough to get it, and it's called Blood and Bone Spatter. Look at that. That's so cool. Audio quality is really, really good too. I was kind of expecting it not to sound that good because it's a splatter, but I've actually had pretty good luck with splatter lately. Limited to 900. So I left one album downstairs. Let me go grab it. So the next pickup that we had, I got for Christmas from my mom's boyfriend too, is Haken. Haken, progressive metal, a lot like Dream Theater. I call them the British Dream Theater. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure when this came out, maybe 2012-ish. This is I think it's their second or third full-length album, but this is the 2017 remixed version. And this was actually remixed by Jens Borgen, who's done work for the Devin Townsend Project. He's done Between the Buried and Me. So this guy is very ingrained in progressive metal. He knows how to mix the band, and the remix makes the original sound like crap. I'm not gonna lie, this remix sounds amazing. So yeah, this is the album Visions. The artwork looks like it might have been retouched to be high res, because this is like really crisp. So this is not going to be extreme metal, even though they do use 7 strings. It's very listenable. Their lead singer has an insane range, more of like a power metal singer than anything else. And this is on like a gray swirl. Kind of transparent, and they have nice artwork there. Both sides are the same. Haken Visions, check it out. Comment below how many times I say the word check it out, because it's probably really annoying. I waited so long for this album, and this is my favorite album of all time. Karnivool. Karnivool, Sound Awake. Sound Awake came out in 2009. Well, it came out in Australia in 2009, then it came out in America in like 2010 or something like that, but I had a copy in 2009. And this changed me. This album changed me. I'm a musician. I play progressive metal, rock. They're from Australia. I've had the pleasure of seeing them on this tour. I saw them at the Troubadour in LA. They weren't even headlining that night. They played for maybe an hour, and they played most of this album. They rolled up with their gear like my band would, set it up on stage. I'm thinking, okay, this is a really low end production, and they sounded amazing. It was one of the best sounding live bands ever, and it took them like 10 minutes to set up. I couldn't believe it. So Sound Awake, this has long been out of print. I mean, this thing went for like 200 bucks. Luckily, something happened to their back catalog. I think Sony acquired their back catalog, and they repressed these, and they're only repressing them in Germany. So why I said I waited forever, I literally bought this in September, and it just showed up on my doorstep less than a week ago, and we're in January 2020. So it got stuck in customs, and there's a few issues. Some of the seams are split. There's a freaking scratch on it. So they are sending me a replacement. But it's so cool to see this affordable and repressed because it deserved it, and it's on 180 gram audiophile quality vinyl. You get all the original artwork. Back. It's all centered around your iris and your pupil. Yeah, so that's it. Karnivool, Sound Awake. #1 album on my list of all time for me. Listen to it if you're a fan of this genre, if you're a fan of progressive rock, hard rock, if you're into vocalists who have a dynamic range who can go extremely high and low. The singer Ian Kenny is just one of my favorite vocalists. He's also in a band called Birds of Tokyo, which is nothing like this. It's 100% like pop rock from Australia. And they tend to have large gaps between their albums. They had Themata, which came out in 2005. This came out 4 or 5 years later. They like to sit with their records, and I think Themata took almost 10 years to write. But yeah, that's all my pickups. It's been a while. I've been trying to get to these videos. You know, my subscriber list has grown a little bit, which I'm super stoked on, and I'm very appreciative of you guys for checking my stuff out, even if it's only 100 views or whatever. I don't care. This is fun for me. I used to be a video editor, so just editing videos and posting them online is just cool, and maybe some of you like it. I don't know. If you do like it, go ahead and check out some of my other videos. You can check out a review I just did of the Sonos One. Sorry, I just knocked a bunch of stuff over trying to grab the speaker. I just did a review of the Sonos One Gen 2, which just came out September of last year. If you guys are into audio gear, check out that review. It might be a little blurry. That's kind of why I got a new camera. And my last Bandbox, I have a whole playlist for Bandbox. If you guys are interested in that service, check that out. And I have a whole gear playlist if you're interested in gear. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and give me a like if you enjoyed this video. Comment below, do you guys have any of these records? Do you hate these records? Is this too much metal for you? Let me know, because I'm super into metal. I'm music fluid. I don't like one single genre. I'm all over the place. So I'm Michael signing off. Take it easy. That intro song, by the way, I wrote that with my band Sojourners.